Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Come on, girls.
Do you believe in love?
Well, I got something to say about it. Welcome to Night of Living Podcast, special debris episode, which we haven't done one in a minute because we skipped it last time. Why not?
Why not?
We do what we want. But we're back with it. We're back, listeners, with some news, so-called, and whatever else we decide to do today. So it's last day of February 2021, and it's warmish here in the Natty.
Oh my God, my backyard, it's a lake of mud.
I'm pretty happy. The rain washed away all the goo-gaw off of my driveway and front walk, so that's good.
Oh, I hate goo-gaw.
Me too.
It gets everywhere.
So that's
her dogs got returned. Lady Goo-Gaws.
Lady
Oh,
Goo-Gaw.
good.
The Goo Gaga tour is back on then.
It's back on. It's Goo Gaga 2021.
Do you guys, we've talked in the past about how Cincinnati local news likes to make every large news story about Cincinnati.
Yes.
Their thing. And lo and behold, the other day, I'm checking the app for our local NBC station, WLWT.
Channel 5.
And the number one story, the largest on the app, is that the dog walker that was shot is a Cincinnati native. And he was up there all day. Like, this is the biggest news in Cincinnati right now. This is what you need to know.
Do you think that there is an intern and their whole job is to like go to big news stories and find the Cincinnati connection? And that's all they do.
Yeah, sure.
The way they
It's
do
like
that.
some 17-year-old kid that they're like promising they're going to get to be an anchor like in a couple of years if they just do this.
Yeah. The usual is like when there's a big weather event somewhere else, they're like, oh, Cincinnati couple stranded in Mexico during earthquake. Cincinnati couple
Plane goes down.
Huh?
A plane goes down. Someone's family member was related to someone in Cincinnati.
Local connection.
Or Cincinnati couple saw this terrorist attack on the TV. That's what they thought.
This plane flew over Cincinnati partially before it went down in another country.
Yep. These things happen to Cincinnati. We make it about us.
I will say this, and I understand a little bit. I have the same thing inside me when I see us come up in the news. But even though we are a legit city, we have this weird inferiority complex.
Mark Twain did it to us. He ruined us forever, our self-esteem.
We're like, we can't believe when someone outside of Cincinnati knows about Cincinnati. And we're like, we can't even believe this. It's us, guys.
I think we actually have a 98 degrees day.
Yeah, probably. They were like, all we had before them was Blessed Union of Souls and the Afghan Wigs. Now we have a legit group.
Don't you feel like they probably gave the key to the city to Carmen Electra at one point? That sounds true if I just said that.
It was passed to Carmen Electra by Sarah Jessica Parker, who'd received it from Steven Spielberg, who'd received it from Charles Manson.
Charles Manson!
George Clooney. Woody Harrelson has a Cincinnati connection, too.
He was here one day.
He worked at Kings Island, didn't he? Yeah, I think he was the one that worked at Kings Island.
Yeah. God forbid somebody from our city wins an Oscar or something like that, because they won't declare him or her there.
Oh, I guess Steven Spielberg was born here, I think, or lived here.
Well, he lived here, when he was a kid.
Wasn't it Regina King. She just hosted Saturday Night Live, and not long before that,
Is she from Cincinnati?
She has a Cincinnati connection.
Oh, Cincinnati connection.
I think.
When she was the daughter on 227, people in Cincinnati watched that show, and now it's newsworthy.
I'd get the intern to look this up to verify all this, but he's going through people's trash right now. Mm-hmm. He's looking for, used condoms and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Fast food wrappers. Drug bottles.
And anytime the Cincinnati chili comes up in national news, or they write an article about it, like, oh, we have to defend it.
Well, that's how, anymore. That's where we mostly come up now, as the city that has its own sort of style of chili.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
And then Southwestern people lose their fucking minds and talk about how it's not real chili.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the chili wars of 2021. So many lives lost. So many assholes blown.
We're so divided.
Like a Batman Mr. Freeze storyline.
That's the real divisiveness I feel as a member of this country is how people from Southwestern areas say that you can't get authentic Southwestern food anywhere,
or Mexican food. Or Mexican Californians say you can't get good Mexican anywhere,
and that is the falsest thing I've ever heard.
It's like, I'm pretty sure the Mexicans in Cincinnati are still from Mexico.
Yes, that's exactly right. So I'm not trying to start any beefs or fights, listeners. I appreciate our Southwestern listeners. I'm just saying I've had this conversation multiple times on the internet.
Let's pick a Southwestern state that we're going to declare a gentle war on. Who do we feel like?
Gentle war.
I don't want to mess with Texas has got too much going on right now. I don't want it to be
that.
But it's coming from a place of love, so it's okay.
Gentle war.
It has to be Texas.
The state of Gorbachusetts. Mm-hmm. Very few people live there. They're so combative. You almost forget that they are the 51st state.
Wherever Pluto lived in The Hills Have Eyes, that particular town should be on the news more, where they're like, crazy irradiated Sonny Bean style cannibal family connection to the tri-state. And they're like, well, the dog they ate was a Cincinnati Shepherd. It wasn't from here, but it's a very specific breed.
Very specific.
It's covered in chili spaghetti. It's a real messy dog.
Is that how it comes out the womb?
Yeah. They're so cute when they're puppies because it's just like they look like little cheese conies.
But then after a while, that smell gets to be too much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to hang out with a puppy that smelled like chili all the time. That would not be ideal. I mean, I would.
Is it because you'd be too afraid that you might try to eat it?
I might try to eat it. Already, that's difficult.
He's a chili dog.
When they're cute little doggos.
We came back to that organically. You're welcome. That's where, you count the rings in the tree, you see how old it is. It's that same sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you ever see pictures of little dachshund puppies in a hot dog bun?
Oh, yeah. No.
It's the cutest little thing I've ever seen.
Well, they have the running of the wiener dogs.
Yeah.
Is that for Oktoberfest or?
Yeah, it's Oktoberfest.
Okay. On Fountain Square, downtown Cincinnati.
They race the wiener dogs.
Yeah.
And friends.
At the end, you all get to pick which one you want to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The winner is the only one that doesn't get eaten.
Yeah.
But they get some of the losers as a reward too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like at the lobster tank. You get to pick which wiener dog you want.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
That one looks good.
An aquarium full of wiener dogs?
That always bothered me. Walking in
aquarium full of wiener dogs.
That
is
too.
bothersome.
Yeah.
No,
especially if they swim around in it like underwater and they have gills and stuff. That's weird.
Dogs with gills.
I'm just gonna say it's weird to have an aquarium full of Dachshunds.
Mm-hmm. Dachshund?
Is it Dachshund or Dachshund?
Dachshunds.
Anyway.
Well, welcome. Freddy's here.
Mm-hmm.
Amy's here.
That's for sure.
Andy's here.
Chili.
And I'm Kelley.
You are.
And I think I'm here.
No, you are.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Thanks for confirming that I am here and I'm someone.
I've been
And
meaning
I
to.
matter.
And you're enough.
Yeah. We see you, Kelley. We see you.
Thank you.
I've been meaning
Anyway.
to check in with Andy on something.
Check in.
Well, how are you feeling about all these controversies in U.S. gymnastics right now?
Oh, talk about, the coach just committed suicide.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Is this like the touching stuff?
Yeah, it's more stuff is coming out. It's really screwed up.
I'm pretty sure it's probably super prevalent. I mean, maybe some people who are in gymnastics would tell me I was wrong, but it seems like it's probably very prevalent.
Yeah, it's like I'm just waiting for the HBO documentary, which I'm sure there already was, but I probably missed it. But yeah, it's pretty sad all around.
Especially at that competitive of a level where the athletes spend so much time with the coaching staff and, all of that, and they don't have much life outside of it. So they're kind of in this weird world anyway.
They're ripe for grooming and being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
And they're too much physical contact to begin with. Not to be a weird old man where like, I don't want that coach like physically handling a bunch of teenage girls. There's just something like baked into it that seems like a problem to me.
Yeah.
Not to paint those guys with a wide swath or anything.
I don't have such a problem with that. Again, as long as like, I feel like if that's all being monitored, like, I mean, people can be physical with people. It doesn't, I do think there's a reaction where like you almost can't talk to children anymore because of people's, overwhelming fear that their children are going to be pedophiled.
QAnon was right. Oh my God.
But I agree that it is, it gives you pause when you realize that there is probably a lot of physical contact that isn't being monitored by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a problem.
Do you ever want to scream at the QAnon people, like, if everybody's a pedophile, then nobody's a pedophile, and just like think about it for 5 seconds? You idiots.
There was a time in my life I would have, but I've realized that talking to people who like anyone who has a thing that they're just convinced of is not, no one listens to logic, rationality, or reason anymore, or ever did, maybe never did. So I've come to this idea that it's real hard for me to argue with anybody because everyone has all of their weird facts and sources and talk around points to where they talk around whatever rational thing you've said. So I just don't bother talking to people anymore.
Yeah, well, for the best. Don't you feel that's part of becoming an old man too, where you're like, I think I'm not done. I'm not done growing, but when I want to know something, I'll seek it out.
Yes, and also I've very much come to other than on this show, I try not to share my opinions about things anymore because I've realized that nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about other people's opinions.
I get what you mean.
Like, well, you're my friend. I just mean like I don't need to go on the internet anymore and shout
and get validated.
The way they did this and this,
right? And I wouldn't.
The way people think that.
I wouldn't have this conversation with strangers anyway.
Right.
I'd be afraid to hear what kind of fucked up thoughts are in some people's heads about this topic.
Yeah.
Well, every now and then I go to the comment section just to see what's going on, and I regret it every single time. I don't know why I do it, but
you want the drama on some level.
Yeah, that drama. I honestly don't understand some people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want to get a sampling for what most people are saying about things sometimes. And now I do not go to the comment sections anymore on like articles that are posted. I do spend a lot of time in Reddit comment threads because there are still plenty of crazy bullshit nonsense. Mm-hmm. But then there's also a level of, there's a certain group of people, and they can be frustrating too. But there's kind of this thread that runs through threads of like where people are insisting that if you say something that you have to back it up with some kind of source, which can also get exhausting if you're just like trying to like talk in it. Yeah. And they're like, can you back that up with a source? But that is better.
Yeah. I like Reddit. Crazy
people shouting, with no expectation of accountability for information. So
people are nicer to each other on Reddit from what the threads that I follow, they are generally, it feels like they're very friendly.
I try to stick to threads where they kind of have an expectation of respect amongst commenters. Like I mostly read these threads in like our news, our movies, things like that.
Well, it's like you're not going to these subreddits that controversial, are you?
No.
Freddy's mostly going to funny subreddits.
Oh no, I follow like world politics and news and stuff on there too. It's just that people are more likely to. I think it seems like the people who are drawn to Reddit are the same kinds of people who in high school wanted to be on the debate team or were in the Model UN.
Those people are kind of annoying too.
Right.
Oh, they really can be.
They can be, but they're also your Joe Bidens and your Kamala Harrises and those people. The people who care about that level of commitment to like understanding things are the same people that become like really great leaders, but they're weird. You know, you're like, they're kind of weird, but that's why they're the way they are, is they think about things on such a level that it's a very fair way of looking at the world. And I think, you know, it's just a cool thing. And I kind of, I actually like am inspired a lot of times when I'm on Reddit to see how people handle each other, because I'm not used to that anymore.
That is a place where I can kind of enjoy even the idiots. Although sometimes I have to jump out of a thread. And like I said, mostly this is on the news. That's where I get all my news, is Reddit news. And I mostly dip into the comments to get the gist of what the article's about.
Well, does anybody here actually ever comment on things?
I never have. I did the other day, actually. I try not to. I really try hard not to.
Oh, so you have to be really pushed to the limit.
I regret it. Even if it's a positive comment, like I just don't want responses. Like then someone comes back with good job or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I wish I hadn't said anything. I don't even want to see that little, like, you have a notification. Someone replied to your comment. I don't want that. But I did the other day tell someone jumped on someone about something. And I said they were being very presumptuous. And then sometimes I'll comment more in things like our movies. I made like a It's Always Sunny joke the other day in something, and that was fine.
For you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, my instinct is always just to basically ignore them, and instead of feeding the trolls.
It has become. Well, I don't ever feed the trolls.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
I mean, there's
unless
a couple
you're feeling
of times,
feisty one day.
Yeah. I mean, like last couple months, there's a couple of times I posted some political stuff on our feeds, and every now and then somebody would put something, reply with something real nasty or something we don't agree with. I just ignore it just because it's easier.
Yeah, that's the way I usually handle that too. I would love to just start adding, every time there's a comment thread I'm in, just put, I have nothing to add. Just write that in there, enter, and then just post on everything I read with, I have nothing to add, just as a way of checking it off. Be like, hey, read this. That would be like a real old person thing to do.
God, yes.
It's like, I just want to mark the internet up for the things. Like, can we just put Maurice has read this?
Not read. Did I already read this? Let me scroll to the bottom. Oh, I did. I had nothing to add, apparently.
Just a watermark.
Do you know what I like? I'm a Twitter baby. I also really like Reddit. I've never posted or commented or anything on Reddit, but Twitter is where I get all of my news. And it is a cesspool of one-upsmanship most of the time. But they have got this new thing where if you're about to retweet or quote tweet something, an article, like a link to an article or something, it says, do you want to read the whole article before you do something?
Yeah.
Before you do anything, read the fucking thing.
Before you wreck yourself.
And I'm like, that's nice. At least they're trying.
So they're kind of like the little angel on your shoulder saying, do you really want to do that?
You sure?
Have you, before you comment on what you're about to retweet, did you fucking read it?
Now, if we could only get Twitter in my kitchen, ask me if I really want that brownie.
Good old Twitter.
Who's that?
Can I change the subject?
What are you changing it to?
I had an awful nightmare last night that woke me up. When I woke up this morning, I was in a tizzy.
I'm sorry.
In an anxious tizzy. What I remember, and it's not much. I'm not like Kelley or Freddy with these all these details of dreams, because I just don't remember like that. But it was essentially, I was with a bunch of people. We were either in like an auditorium or like a big warehouse, and we were all waiting.
I have a lot of dreams that are in big buildings.
And all of us, some people were out.
Masks?
No, because it wasn't. It was about nuclear war. Was like we were about to all die, and we were just kind of waiting for that to happen. And I just like I woke up like with this feeling like I was just about to die with a bunch of people. Isn't that what is that? Is that just a reaction?
It's an anxiety dream, baby.
Yeah. I've had a lot of those.
I think it's kind of a reflection of the times we're living in.
For sure.
You're trapped in your house with a small, these are the people that you care about, and you're kind of worried that we're all going to die. And so you're sort of waiting. And that's probably what that dream is.
And were these a bunch of randos that you just got stuck with at the end of the world?
There were randos. And then there were like you guys, of course. I'm sure you were there. I just know that. Huh?
Landos.
Were there any Landos?
Many Landos.
Landos Calrissian.
It was a Star Wars convention that it happened at. And we were all cosplaying.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was joking.
Man, you blew my mind for a minute.
Anyway.
I was like, oh my God, for real?
Like it was intense, man.
I'm sorry.
Did you check the news to make sure everything was okay when you woke up?
Well, I always check.
I have
because poor user Donald Trump has trained me to be constantly checking to see what is coming next.
I hate the ones that linger like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
make you feel weird all day.
Yeah. I'd have nightmares where I lost you, Amy. Like lost you globally. Like in a world.
In a world
where there are only landline phones again, because we grew up no cell phones. That is in my nightmare. Where it's a world where I can't find you, but it's not a world of today. It's like the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
I understand that.
But I've been microchipped now, so he can find me whenever.
No, that's just Bill Gates. He can track you wherever he wants.
I just follow my heart.
Bill Gates, you can put 1,000 chips in me. Just give me a vaccine.
Speaking of putting 1,000 chips in you, thanks for all the chips, Andy.
Yeah.
Potato chips.
Andy brought over tortilla chips.
Tortilla chips. Oh, speaking of potato chips,
tortilla
SNL
chips,
has
Andy.
been putting some like old skits on YouTube lately.
Who is?
SNL.
SNL, Saturday Night Live. And there's a skit that they put up a couple months ago about a potato chip.
Is that the one with Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah, and Will Forte.
I love that. That was the weirdest.
I don't remember.
Just look up potato chip SNL, and it's kind of like
it's goofy,
like a Southern Gothic take on NASA, and some guy eating a potato chip when he shouldn't have.
I love that idea. I love those dudes. I'm into it.
I remember that being extremely absurdist and just delighting me to no end.
It's like the skit that they put at 12:50.
Yeah,
right.
Because they don't know if it's going to hit.
Right before they are all waving.
Yeah,
before they're all waving and hugging.
Mm-hmm.
So look up Saturday Night Live potato chip and thank me later.
Okay.
You ever get weirded out on new episodes of Saturday Night Live when you see them all together at the end hugging?
Yeah,
I'm like, don't do that.
They're wearing masks but hugging, and it's like, guys. I mean,
sometimes
I know you're all.
Not.
I know you're all. They're all tested. I know they've all been around each other. No, we don't need to watch this right now, Freddy. It doesn't translate.
Sir, for agreeing to take this meeting on what I presume you consider to be your very precious lunch hour.
And I thank you, sir,
it's Will
for
Forte.
your interest in outer space.
And Sudeikis at NASA.
You wanted to be an astronaut.
As of 3 p.m. today, I will be clocking in at 1 day strong.
Well, soon enough we will see if your dreams will become a reality here at the NASA space program.
I sit in a state of deep anticipation.
Oh, would you know they don't have my space test in here?
Space test, sir?
It is a rubric by which NASA measures one's space potential. I'm gonna go get it out of the fridge.
Sir, I will be waiting here patiently in the deepest of anticipation.
There's a bowl of potato chips on the desk.
I'm gonna ask that you don't take any of these potato chips here. Because I'm super hungry. Okay? So I'm gonna go into the other room and I'm gonna expect you to not touch any of those potato chips.
Your potato chips are safe in my presence.
I thank you, sir.
Oh God.
Do we need to keep watching?
No, but if you want to know what happens, that's the setup. Go to YouTube.
It reminds me on AFE, they've had on a few episodes recently, like parents like secretly filming their kids, and they'll put like candy, like some M&Ms on the table and go, we're going to eat these, but wait, I need to go to the bathroom. And when I come back, we'll eat these. So don't touch them while I'm gone.
Also known as the marshmallow test, right?
Yeah.
Something
and then it's just filming the kid trying not to eat the M&Ms or whatever.
Yeah.
That's basically what that sketch is.
Yeah.
Is it super cute, Amy?
Sometimes. One time a dog ate it and the kid got blamed.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I do sometimes get like when they have those videos around Christmas where the parents trick the kids with like their Christmas presents and they give them like a box with like a banana peel or something in it to like tape their shitty reactions. I actually feel bad for those kids.
I do too.
That's
I'm
mean.
like, that's a dick move, you fucking dick parents.
Unless they do this, the after thing where they actually give them something awesome immediately after.
Yeah.
Where they're like, yes, there's a banana peel in that box, but you're going to Disney World. And then they're like,
But it's just setting up your kid to be called a brat by stupid commentators.
Right.
Yeah.
They should be more appreciative of things. But yeah, if somebody gave me a banana for Christmas as a 5-year-old, I'd be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I would be pissed. And I don't want my kids to feel bad even for a second. Like I don't want to be the one to make my kid feel like an asshole for a second. So like the parents who do that kind of fuck you actually.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry if one of you have done that, but fuck you.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel with the Halloween candy.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel does. He does both of those.
And then, and then you have the kids that like they have a nice reaction, like it's okay that you eat my candy, and all the people are like, oh, what a sweet kid, you raised your kid right.
Yeah.
But so all the kids who are
disappointed,
having their candy eaten, their parents did a bad job apparently.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing, people.
I am not a prank. I'm not a person who likes to like really prank people that way. Like,
Me. I don't want to be pranked. I don't want to prank anybody.
I'm too tired for it now, but I used to love to prank people.
I've never been into that. I've never been into like making like with the kids, if they asked what something was, sometimes for a few minutes, I might like make up a story like, oh no, that was because my mom did that. My brother did that. Like
that's fun. That's good fun.
But I always let them know quickly. Like I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, you always gotta send them out the way they came in or better. Yeah. I think that's the goal of a prank. And you gotta come into that prank at 80%, and you can either leave it 80 or anything over 80%. But if you feel bad after the prank, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
If anyone feels bad after.
Okay, Freddy, did you feel bad when you showed me that video of the ghost that pops up on your screen?
No.
Years, like 15 years ago?
Yeah, I didn't feel...
I think you broke me.
At first, screamed. I felt bad at first, but we've gotten so much joy and mileage out of that one incident that you came out way past 80% in the end.
I didn't feel... Here's the thing. I didn't feel like you fucked me over or anything like that. I was laughing afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to be that shocked by it.
That's a gentle. That's a gentle thing. Like
a gentle war.
It's a gentle.
The best thing, if you haven't heard this story, there was this old YouTube video, and it was supposed to be a ghost that was caught in a car commercial they filmed.
Yeah, the car commercial. Yeah, I remember this.
And when it got to the point where the ghost pops out, which it turns it's a joke video, it's a jump scare thing. The ghost pops out. Andy was sitting in front of, this was back when we had the big old desktop computers with the big giant monitors and stuff, and he's sitting there, his posture's real good, just staring at the screen, leaning in to see the ghost, and then boom, and he starts screaming. And then he looks at me like, why did you do this? Like, so hurt. But then he looks back at the screen and continues to scream. And then he looks back at me, still screaming. And it was like,
like a Simpsons moment.
Yeah, it was so funny, but also I felt so bad. But then it's like, but ultimately you came out the other side with this wonderful story.
Yeah, I had fun.
It brought us closer together.
It turns out we're still there screaming.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was before we knew each other really well.
Yeah.
And I feel like that particular prank actually made us better friends. And sometimes you can bond. It's a very tricky tightrope kind of thing. You don't pour pig's blood on Carrie White at the prom.
Right.
But you do fart when someone pulls your finger. Like if Carrie White pulled your finger, you'd fart. I bet none of those kids got burned.
Yeah. But then at the end you say, I'm just kidding.
Right.
to Carrie, like to let her know, like it's not hurt, like it's not hurtful. You're like, just kidding.
It's not even a real fart. It was
You
a
say it
shark.
like Norm Macdonald. Just kidding.
Oh, but I got my family all chopped up in these duffel bags. You remember that bit?
Yeah.
I love that.
I got my family.
I love Norm Macdonald.
I do too.
Have you watched his show, his interview show?
No.
It's
I've
great.
seen clips from it. Yeah.
If you get a chance, watch either the one with him and Chevy Chase or the one with him and I think David Letterman were the best ones, if I remember right.
I saw a clip from the one with him and Jerry Seinfeld the other day. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I want to rewatch those.
You just it's like, you're doing all that sex and stuff, and it's just like, what the heck is this tear, fella? I don't know.
Is that the official Norm Macdonald sound?
Yeah, I think it is. I've been working on my Norm a little bit recently, so
Working on his Norm.
I don't have a good Christopher Walken, and I don't have a good. I've been working my Orson Welles. It's not very strong, but it's going to get there. But I've been working my Norm a little bit. It's
working your Norm.
Yep. I'm working my Norm every day, at least once a day. At least once a day.
I've been working on a Peter O'Toole, and I swear to God, I'm up all night working on my Peter.
Yeah, all night.
All night. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I try to get Amy to help me with it. I'm like, is this?
She's like, is this your Peter or your O'Toole?
Fabulous. Just fabulous.
Kelley took that to new heights.
Kelley posted it.
Well, it's like he has two dick things.
Yeah, he does, and I never realized that until now.
He has two dick things in his name.
Peter O'Toole, why you got two dick things in your name? Wasn't one enough? You greedy? What's your middle name, Dick?
Peter Richard O'Toole.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like a guy named Richard Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy.
I like Harry Johnson.
Yeah.
Or,
all right.
Let's get Harry.
Wonderful. Friendly reminder, of course, patreon.com/NOTLP. If you'd like to support the show that way, you get some extra stuff. We just recorded our introduction to an episode from 2009. So you
filled with terribleness.
You get access to our Origins episodes where we give you our today times thoughts on the before times.
Yeah, and if you like oranges, NOTLP oranges, you're going to love NOTLP Topicana.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Yes, you will. A great show. I enjoy listening to it.
In fact,
we're such a citrus-based podcast.
Vitamin C, baby. It's good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no scurvy for you guys.
Did she sing the graduation song?
Just listen to our podcast.
Vitamin C did sing the graduation song, which I'm still not like I remember that being a big thing, and I'm like, years later, I remember people saying, "Do you remember the graduation song?" I was like, "I don't. What is that?"
Well, you were graduated by then.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, but
you weren't allowed to hear it.
People acted like it was like everywhere, and I had never heard it until years later. And then I was like, they're like, "Oh no, you must have heard this," and then it was played for me. I was like, "No," and I listened to pop radio at the time. I was like, "I never heard this one time." This is what she's famous for.
Was that a different song than the one where like, "Trust me about the sunscreen"? Remember that guy? Live in New York, but leave before you get hard.
Yeah, that was from Romeo and Juliet.
Well, that song came out in 2000, and we had all graduated by then, so it's not as relevant in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Was it played at a bunch of graduation? Why? What is the deal?
It's a song about
graduation songs. Of course, it was.
It's the companion piece to Pomp and Circumstance now, basically.
But who? They didn't play at Colin's graduation.
Well, no, because it's not cool anymore.
No, it's not cool.
Yeah,
it's not cool.
They've
man.
had a new graduation song for Collins.
Like it didn't stand the test of time. Let's just say.
If you did that today, the kids would be like, "What is this even?"
I think you're right, because I don't think it stood the test of like short time, because when I find everyone was like, "You don't remember this song from 3 years ago?" And I'm like, "No."
But do you remember Short Time with Dabney Coleman as the cop who was trying to get killed on the job so his wife gets the big life insurance payout?
Did you guys know that the director of the Vitamin C graduation song video was Gregory Dark?
The porno director?
Who was a porno director and then switched over to mainstream music videos.
His real name was Gregory Dark?
No, that's not his real name.
Okay.
His real name is Gregory Brown.
How do you direct a porn? I don't think that's like.
You're not wrong. I don't know.
I don't think that's something I want on my resume.
It depends on the era.
My next job is going to be directing porno movies. I agree. 70s, earlier, mid 70s. Those are actual movies, I guess. But
yeah.
I just remember she had like brightly colored hair. White.
Yes, she sure did.
I was like, what are we talking about?
Like an orange
thread.
I thought it was green.
I didn't realize Gregory Dark directed See No Evil. Remember that with Kane, the wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I didn't realize that was him. That's a fun movie.
Yeah, I liked it
Actually,
quite a
his
bit.
porno movies are really fun.
He also directed Balls Deep 4, Balls Deeper.
Is that true?
No, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
Wikipedia doesn't list every porn he directed.
Yeah. Did it wrap up with Balls Deep 5, Balls Deepest?
He did White Bun Busters. I know that.
White Bun Busters.
And they also
knows
did
that.
Black Chicks.
Oh, good.
I'm pretty sure that was him. The brothers, the Dark Brothers. There's two
brothers.
Of them. It sounds like Roger Rabbit said that.
Yeah.
Little black chicks. Eddie.
I'm not gonna.
Or should we? Well, that was a fun bit of trivia we all just learned.
Isn't it?
Thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm. One could say you've graduated from that segment. So you could play the graduation song that I still can't place in my head.
I don't know that I could sing it to you right now.
It has that beat, right? That boom.
It's like, as we go on,
that song.
Something. Isn't it?
I don't even fucking know.
Is the melody just...
It's no body, yaddy,
Canon
yaddy,
and D
yaddy,
or
yaddy,
something?
yaddy.
I don't know.
It sounds like the melody to the graduation song is just some classical music that she just...
It is. It's Pachelbel or whatever.
Pachelbel! Fourth meal.
Yes, it's partly orchestrated featuring a string arrangement based on Pachelbel's Canon in D.
I like the Gordita.
Ooh, the Bacon Club Chalupa's back, and I love it.
It's good. I just
love it.
Yeah.
No.
I'm at the Pizza Hut. I'm at the Pachelbel. The combination Pizza Hut and Pachelbel. That's what vitamin C is. She's a combination Pizza Hut and Pachelbel.
Oh, that's a classical music joke. You don't hear that often.
We
Classy.
This is a sophisticated show.
We literally know everything about everything, so we can talk on anything.
What?
I don't know.
We are the
Vitamin
Oracle.
C.
It is my turn to use the eye.
Very cool. Indeed. Anything else going on this week we need to talk about?
What was I going to say happened?
Would you mean like we're not getting in the news yet, but
No, just our lives.
just a relaxing show. I hope you're kicking it.
I had my very first mammogram.
Oh, how was it?
Everything's fine.
Ma'am?
Was it delightful?
Ma'am?
No, it was the opposite of delightful.
A mammogram is when a woman shows up at your door that is has authority over you, but not much.
Yeah.
And they're like, "This is a mammogram," because you have to call her ma'am.
Mammogram.
And in the lobby on your way out,
was weak.
they have little cookies
Sorry.
that are shaped like titties called mammograms.
They're like teddygrams, but
Yeah.
boobies.
But they're
Tittygrams.
boobs. They're actually
I love
teddygrams
that.
with tits. The little bears have boobies.
Oh, that's adorable.
They're bear boobies,
Oh God.
but they're cinnamon and honey flavored.
I used to, when I still ate these sugar things, there you used to be able to get these big giant tubs of chocolate little bears. They're like chocolate teddygrams, but better. They were bigger, slightly bigger, not much bigger, but it was a huge Costco sized just tub of them that you could get, at the grocery store.
I feel
And they
like
were all chocolate.
you eat a lot of things in tub weight or tub form because you're talking about the sub tub at Jersey Mike.
Well, that's just what that's called.
I'm just saying.
It's not
Y'all
a tub
know
of
me.
subs.
You're all about the tub size.
I love tub.
Tub.
You can find me in the tub.
I'm a tub captain.
Tub and scrub.
Miss
But,
Peaches.
My favorite part of your store is that it's just a van in a grocery store parking lot.
Yes, I went to the
And I
Kroger
was
in
like-
Fairfield.
I asked you, are you sure it was legit?
I think so. It looked like machinery that wouldn't be
It
in a
was a
regular
van.
RV.
Welcome to Dr. John Squeeze the Booby.
Was it just a dude with a mullet and was like, I'm
gonna
gonna
squish
check
'em.
I'm gonna check your breasts.
No, it's all legit, but it is weird that I go to a Kroger parking lot and I park and I knock on the RV door and they're like, "We'll come get you," and then
is
they make
weird.
me take my shirt off. And then manhandled my tits like nobody has ever in my life, and it was terrible and very undignified. But so is much of being a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, my mother actually described to me what a mammogram was like years and years ago, and I was horrified. I was
It's not great.
Well, did you get
sounds awful.
a free dinner? Did you get a free dinner afterwards?
I
Amy?
didn't get shit.
She got titty grams.
She didn't. The lady that moved my boobs in ways that they weren't meant to go, and then smushed them, and then told me to hold my other one out of the way, which is just a weird thing to say to somebody.
Move the other one away. She gave her a quick nip flick at the end, and that was all she got.
You're doing great.
Something's in the way. Boobs.
Ooh.
So, when you hit, at what age are you supposed to start getting them? Is
40.
it 40 or 41?
40.
Okay.
40.
I just waited too long because the pandemic happened and I was being a baby about it.
Yeah.
Who's had a colonoscopy?
I want to get one.
At what point do men are men supposed to get their prostate checked out?
Good question.
45, right?
I've got a story, but what is it? 45?
I'll find out. You talk.
That's what I've heard.
Because my doctor, I feel like
It's coming up, right?
Well, I want all of these things because I want to make sure I'm okay. I want a colonoscopy because I'm very paranoid about what's going on inside my body constantly.
Yeah.
And I asked my doctor, I think when I turned 40, I was like, should you do like a prostate exam now? And I feel like she keeps putting it off, or like say, well, we could do a different thing, or I could send you to the colorectal guy to do that. I'm like, do you just not want to stick your finger up my, you don't want to touch my dick anymore. It's been years since you've touched my dick and balls. And now you don't want to shove your finger up my ass to make sure my prostate is healthy? Come on, man.
The way you frame it, it sounds like a relationship is ending.
Are you talking about your ex-wife, or are you talking about?
I'm just like, why
honey,
won't
you
you
haven't
do
touched-
these things for me? I want to know what's wrong with my dick and balls and my asshole. I don't want to go to another doctor. Why are you my doctor? What do I need you for?
You and your doctor need to go to therapy. Or
Yeah,
something.
you guys,
Yeah.
you need couples
I know
counseling.
it.
What
The
if you
magic
speak
is
to her
gone.
manager? You're like, I'd like to speak to your manager. I'm not getting enough attention down here in my bathing suit area.
Oh, okay. So don't worry. Unless you have prostate issues in your family, you guys can wait till you're 50.
Yeah.
Well, then you should start at 45.
What about colorectal? When do you get? Is it still
the
45?
colonoscopy? I think is like way later.
I think it's
They
down to
said
45 now.
Hold on.
Yeah, because it's become an epidemic for people our age group.
You know,
Yeah,
I never thought I'd be talking about prostate exams on the podcast.
This is what's happening. We are old
I
now.
always knew I'd end up here.
Yeah.
the neighborhood. It's such a standard sitcom. If the Play-Doh Fun Factory could cut a sitcom out of Play-Doh, it would be this show. But it's so comforting because it's so familiar. They just did an episode about Cedric the Entertainer's character having to go in for a colonoscopy.
Who did?
Well,
The neighborhood.
There's a mammogram
Oh, the
van.
neighborhood.
Is there a prostate van?
Oh, I don't
A
know.
van where you just go in and get your butt
Yeah, it's a van
tickled.
down by the river.
Yeah.
It's actually the Batmobile. They call it the Buttmobile though, but it's basically the Batmobile.
Oh God, we're gonna have to
They
start.
should do that because it would encourage more people to do it. Like, oh my God, see the Batmobile and get my prostate checked out.
I like the Buttmobile. That's pretty fucking amazing what you just did.
We
Yeah.
have to start. We're gonna have to start at 45 getting our a colonoscopy.
No.
I want one now. I guess I can wait till next year, but like I want one now.
Now.
What if there was a guy dressed as a Joker giving it to
But
you
you
in a
only have to
parking
do it every
lot?
10 years.
Well, then that's extra. Do I have to pay more?
Can we do
I'll
open
still
air
do it, Freddy.
colonoscopy? You know how they do massages on the beach where they have those little huts that you can get into, like if you're at a resort.
To cover that? Because if so, yes.
They should do that colonoscopies with like that way. And
Colonoscopy cabanas.
Yeah. And you can listen to the ocean. And then you can dump out in the sand when you're done.
Don't forget your upper GI, by the way.
Yeah, you got to get all that looked at.
Mm-hmm.
You can have esophageal problems.
You could.
I think signing up for the full vivisection is the way I want to go. I want to be put on slides so they can really get in there and find out what's going on. And
Remember on
be put back
Scrubs when they were doing free full body scans?
Yeah.
They were mad about it.
They were mad because that's not like an efficient use of time and funds.
But I thought, I found that the characters who were annoyed that they were doing that, I was like, what's wrong with that? Like, can't people just find out what Dr. Cox is very much against people knowing everything that was wrong with them. I feel like, and I'm like, no, I want to know everything that's wrong with me right now.
Yeah. There's a balance you got to find with that stuff though, for your mental health as well. Like where, get a checkup every year, go for your diabetic checkups, but also, just tick the boxes that they recommend. And if you go further than that, it might drive yourself crazy.
Well, I'm already there, and I worry that they're not checking enough boxes.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need your
Howard Hughes?
Or your colon checked yet. You're not at that age.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be okay. But, I mean, if you want to, write a sternly worded letter to the boss of your doctor and explain that you would like some more attention paid.
Do they make stationery with the silhouette of the talk to the manager haircut on it?
They should.
If they don't, somebody needs to make talk to the manager stationery.
I feel like somehow that would be misogynistic, but
you're probably right. I'm not thinking very far ahead in the future.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I feel like if we tried to make that, it would probably not be awesome.
Who corresponds anymore? Who writes letters?
It's true. Yeah. Nobody. Emails.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my writing desk and pull out my camera stationery, dip my pen in the inkwell, and there's candlelight, and write a sternly worded letter.
Mm-hmm. You have your quill.
I did find a website called WTF Notebooks, and the article is called "Reasons I Want to Speak to the Manager."
Okay.
Wait, it's a product.
Freddie, don't bring us into your Google.
It's a notebook that says it on it. "Reasons I Want to Speak to the Manager" is on the cover of this notebook.
Okay.
But
is it like a journal that you
stationery?
It's just a journal where you just write all your grievances in, right? And don't tell anybody.
Or it could be legitimately things for someone at work. And it might just mean this is a list of things like toilets clogged again.
Keep clocking in late.
The lady in the next cube has been dead for 3 days. Could someone please remove the body?
God.
So I wanted to say we were talking about fun stuff like Amy's boobs getting smashed, but we watched
I'm gonna smash your
this
boobs.
show that just kind of popped up. I don't even know how I found it. It must be a new release because it somehow came to my attention. It's called How To with John Wilson. Have you guys watched this at all?
What's it streaming on?
I think it's HBO Max, and it's a comedy show, but it's this documentarian who goes around New York and gets all this candid video of people. And he creates these video essays. Like the first one we watched was called the very first episode of the show. Is how to make small talk. And he's very similar to like Joe Pera, who does that Joe Pera Talks to You, which is also super soothing. But like, it's just him saying like how to make small talk or how not to. Like he's at a jeweler and he's like, if you don't want to engage, you can't take the bait. And the lady's like, I was married. And he went, okay.
Oh, he's right about that.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the confidence to say that.
I have learned how to not engage using that method.
I would spew bird vomit until we both want to die.
Here's the thing, though. What makes the show so beautiful, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but to make the point, I kind of have to spoil something about it.
He's going to spoil it.
He comes at you as a guy with all this social anxiety. He reminds me of a lot of people I know, and he's super relatable. He has kind of a stutter. He's just this guy, super normal guy, regular guy. And And you can see why he wouldn't want to be like trapped in an elevator with somebody and having to interact with someone, that sort of thing. But by the time you get to the end of that first episode, he has a beautiful moment as part of that episode where he ends up connecting with somebody. And it's just, it feels, it's too real to be staged, like every aspect of it. There are things that obviously had to be kind of set up. Yeah. But like those interactions are so real. Yeah. And, but it's also super funny. Like in one, he'll drop clips in from movies and stuff. Like it's crazy. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for adults. You remember when he would go to a factory or something?
I love that. Yeah. You learn how to make crayons, the peanut butter and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. It's just like that, except you never really see him. It's all first person.
Do you remember when Mr. Rogers showed you how they make saxophones?
Yeah. Those were my favorite parts of the show.
Mine too.
And this is like that only for grown-ups because it's very grown-up. You'll know what I mean if you watch it.
Yeah, I might have to check. That sounds fun. What's it called?
It's called
How To with John Wilson on HBO Max.
Jan Wilson. Gotcha.
Jan.
We've been, and I know Freddie, you're doing the same thing. We've been binging The Muppet Show.
Oh, yeah. I've only seen a few. I've watched the first 2 or 3.
We're jumping around to like celebrities. It's a great time capsule because it's like it makes you think who are gonna be the forgotten celebrities of our time.
Well, it was funny. I just watched the episode with Sandy Duncan in it.
Sandy Duncan.
Well, Sandy Duncan is at least somebody you know.
And there was one with Rita Moreno.
Oh, I love Rita Moreno. It's so good. She's so sexy on the Muppet Show. It's crazy good.
Okay. Well, I'm not that far into the Muppet Show yet, but apparently they put some warning tags in front of certain episodes. Does it get offensive at certain points?
Here's the thing.
Not as schooled as you guys are.
You're gonna. It has like things from the time. Like there's like an episode with like what are like Arab stereotype Muppets drilling for oil in Kenny Rogers. Whatchamacallit, dressing room. Steve Martin does a bit from his thing where, like, for instance, and sorry, I'm just relating this, listeners. He's playing his banjo. This is from his stand-up set, too. And he says, now in Chinese. And he does, like, like makes Chinese up a Chinese gibberish thing. And so there's little things like that where, like, I don't think they intended it to be harmful. It's good. I think
even King Tut, right? Wasn't King Tut, didn't he perform that on the Muppet Show?
Not in the episode that I saw with Steve Martin.
Maybe I'm imagining things.
Yeah. But so I feel like there's things that no one was trying to be anything. It was just of its time. I think it's good that they put the warnings on there because then they don't have to censor those episodes and you get the original. People were, again, speaking of Reddit, there were people who were pissed off about that. I was like, no. And it's like they don't remember it right. They're like, the Muppet Show was all about love and inclusivity. The Muppet Show was not.
It was a vaudeville show.
It was dark and it was vaudeville.
It's very adult. I was surprised to see how sophisticated and
it holds up better for me now than it did as a kid.
A lot of the jokes are very bawdy.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things that was legitimately for adults and kids at the same time, and not in the way they do that now. It was just like everybody expected kids to get either get it or not get it, adults get it or not get it, and it is like Freddie described it perfectly. It is just a vaudeville, slightly violent. But I mean, there was inclusivity and love, but there's also
it was a byproduct.
Monsters eating people every time, and weird racial stereotypes of the 70s that were, I mean, I think mild from a person of not color standpoint, but
what's though, Kelley? I think like when people watch it now and they're like, it was always about inclusivity and love. They're put the cart before the horse. Like the fact that they had this shared experience with the Muppets and all the diverse people that were involved in that, the love and the inclusivity was like a byproduct of like Sesame Street and the Muppets and all that. It's not like they said that's what we're setting out to do. It was like a person by person basis. They're like, this person's the right person for this team or that team, and it builds out from there.
Well, and I think what you said too, I think people conflate it with Sesame Street because Sesame Street was about those things and it was about exposing people to different ethnicities, different cultures, different socioeconomic, Sesame Street was 100% about that. And of course, the Muppets were a large part of that, but that was not what the Muppet Show was. The Muppet Show was all about entertaining.
It was letting your hair down. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's watching it now. It's very subversive in some ways.
It's very subversive. I love, we've been enjoying the hell.
Yeah. I'm just confused at times. Like, why are the Muppets are flirting with humans? What's going to happen? Oh
yeah, Gonzo falls in love with Madeline Kahn. That was that was one of the ones we watched. Madeline Kahn last night. So great.
I love her.
It's such a sexually loaded show at times.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's so many episodes that I had never seen that are on there.
Yeah.
So like I just started at the beginning, but I do think I'm going to have to jump around because the first couple they're fun to watch, you know, and absorb the whole thing, but it's not like that iconic stuff I remember.
Right.
It is. That's what's funny. I watch so much Muppet Show. I do start like when things come, I'm like, oh shit. I remember, like I have that feeling. I do remember so much more than I thought I would. But like, it's just such a great time capsule for the first episode. Juliette Prowse. The fuck is that?
She was a dancer, right?
I guess.
I think that's the one I'm just watched. I'm pretty sure.
It's just a name that if you float that, like someone maybe knows who that. I'm sure we have listeners right now. You don't know who Juliette Prowse is? Well, only because of the Muppet Show.
Yeah, that's how I knew a lot of the people that were on the Muppet shows from the Muppet Show.
Yeah, but it's so great to see these people who are like not super well remembered, but like obviously at the time they were having a moment.
Yeah,
and,
it's very SNL like that. In
exactly. I love that. But season 2, they got much more bigger names and more well-known people,
like established names as opposed to the hot commodity at that time.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Gallagher 2.
If only. If only. And I think, you know, they've talked about how they haven't really known what to do with the Muppets for the last, you know, since the Muppet Show almost. And I think if they would just do the Muppet Show, but exactly the same, other than, you know, culturally, you know,
right.
Update that kind of idea. Don't try to make it like clever for like, don't try to make it a thing. Just do the Muppet. Just do a variety show
with artists, because
with celebrities and artists now.
I think it's the same way that people are very dismissive about animated stuff. Like, oh, it's animated, it's for children.
Agreed.
They immediately write it off. The same way they look at Muppets, like, oh, they're just little puppets. They're cute. See, so it's not going to be for me. It's just be for kids and stuff.
Miss Piggy is the most horny character of all time. Like, think about it.
Yeah,
she can be a piece of work sometimes. I don't know what Kermit's.
She's toxic. Their relationship is toxic, but she is horny.
I mean, at the same time, Kermit's kind of a doormat too, so he needs to. I can't lay the blame entirely on Miss Piggy.
Right?
No, I can't believe it's not butter.
Right. That's what we all said.
I can't believe I did that.
You know, one of my favorite Muppet moments was Muppets in Space with Pepe the Prong. And he's like, bologna sandwiches, okay? I don't even remember the context. It was something to do with what they were going to eat in space.
That's pretty funny.
Maybe. Yeah, I loved it. He was just like, bologna sandwiches, okay?
Gonzo's people come to find him.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Pigs in Space. I love that.
I love Pigs in
Space.
Space
is great. I love Veterinarian's Hospital. It holds up like gangbusters. Before we move on, we can move on quickly, but I wanted to tell a Muppet story.
Yes.
When I was a kid, and people our age probably remember having those little tape recorders, those rectangular tape recorders with the built-in mic, and you just hit play and record, you know, and they had the big silver like speaker screen. It's just small, you know. If you don't remember it, then you don't know what I'm talking about. It's fine. But my brother, when I was little, he would make a tape, just audio tapes of things off of TV, like TV themes he liked. And then he would tape bits of the Muppet Show, string them together into like a mix of Muppet Show bits. And I used to listen to that, just the audio.
That's adorable.
And I would listen to that when I was a kid. So I have like so many of these too, like are so deep in my psyche, just the audio of it.
Like a comedy album.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Which
That's
I actually
awesome.
I have a lot of great comedy albums that were his on vinyl. He was good with that stuff. Anyway, Muppets.
Hell yeah.
The Muppets.
All right, cool. Well, let's do the thing then.
All right.
Let's dive in.
Yeah.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
Here's a special one of your six major cities in the world being destroyed.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Remember, human beings are their food.
I don't know if this is just me or not, but that was super loud in my headphones, so we might want to check that before we post it.
Well, it's baked in with this particular device, so it'll compress.
No, it's cool. I'm just saying.
It was loud. I agree.
It wasn't like crazy loud on my end, though.
Oh, it was here.
Yeah, it was jarring.
Well, anyway,
Freddy doesn't seem concerned at all with your pain.
No, it should compress out.
Okay.
When I run it through if you know what I mean. Louds get smaller. Quiets get bigger.
Louds get smaller.
Louds get small. Yeah, I want the sound to sound more green and less orange.
Yeah.
So, first bit of news, and Dustin Chisholm, thank you for cluing me in on this and wanting to get my reaction and surprise me with this news. But Edgar Wright is set to adapt and direct an adaptation of The Running Man. I'm loath to call it Stephen King's Running Man because it was written under Richard Bachman, but either way, same dude.
Same dude.
And that's extremely exciting. I love Edgar Wright.
There was a little disappointing news about that.
Oh.
It's actually not the Running Man, it's the Runny Man.
Oh no.
It's about this drippy dude who leaves a trail of moisture everywhere he goes.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not as excited about that.
Yeah, I thought they were going to make a whole movie about that one dance in the 90s.
I almost broke my leg doing that.
That's true.
It's from Paramount, which, by the way, I guess they're going to make CBS All Access Paramount Plus now.
They done did it, baby.
They done did it already?
Oh, they done did it.
It's done been did?
It's
not CBS All Access anymore?
I don't know, but it will
so
very
if I go
soon.
into my apps, it'll still...
I don't know. I think that fact, isn't it March 3rd? They said.
Well, fuck. Soon.
Jesus, Amy, we have a journalistic responsibility here.
Oh my God.
I was kidding, of course.
I know a lot of people love the 80s Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I do not, because I read that book before I saw that movie. I did not see that movie in the 80s with
You must have been
else.
really disappointed.
I was terribly disappointed because and I get why people like it. It is a goofy, fun movie, but I was already I'd already read that book like 2 or 3 times before I saw that movie. You
wanted the book. And that I'm with you on that, but I actually saw it before I read the book. So I was able to completely think of them as 2 separate things.
Oh, I think most people I think most people who are into this genre have they have a fondness, even if they have read the book, they have a fondness in their heart for that movie because it is goofy, over the top. And Richard Dawson is fucking awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not even saying you can't.
So Kelley, is the book kind of the same tone as the movie?
Not even close. Not even.
Okay,
because it's a very serious, earnest story.
It's more the Hunger Games.
Is it more so it's more horror-ish than
it's a dystopian.
The movie, right? Okay.
It is a full-on dystopia. This and The Long Walk helped inspire the Hunger Games because it's in this it's very kind of like now. It's like there's this huge disparity between the super rich and the super poor, and they have these game shows where people can go on and risk their lives like poor people to maybe get these huge payouts. And The Running Man is the most popular one, where they take a person and there's no rules. They can kill whoever they want. They go out, and if they can stay alive for 30 days, they win this huge amount of money that they can use to have a normal life. But everyone in the country, it's like Series 7. Series 7 was basically a retelling of The Running Man, where everyone in the country becomes a hunter, and you get rewards for turning in.
Yeah, but Series 7 was a lot more serious than The Running Man, so it's kind of
but
two
that's
different takes. Yeah, that's how
that's how the book is.
Yeah, so Series 7 is more like The Running Man in the book, right?
Yes, it is a much more closer. Yeah, and very, very similar. And So I'm not saying, and they're like the where the rich are, it reminds me of the way they're portrayed in the Hunger Games, like as being very flamboyant and everybody has crazy makeup and is super sexed up and stuff. And it's actually very prescient, that novel right now, because I know we use that term a lot and people are probably like, oh God, it's prescient.
Now more than ever.
But it is
in these
because
trying times.
It talks about, I mean, it's really all about taking class, how class warfare and class divisiveness, and then exploiting people. It's a really great book. And so I'm hoping we can get a more serious, there can be humor too.
But how do you think Edgar Wright's which direction do you think he's going to take it?
See, I'm not sure, but I think he will treat it more seriously.
I think he would go satire with it.
But I think he will treat it as a satire,
right.
But I don't think it's going to be like a goofy action movie the way they weren't trying to make political. Well, I won't say that, but they were not trying to make that movie a political satire too much, I don't think.
Also, game show, the whole definition of like game show, when they made the first Running Man, they kind of had to go with a big game show that people were used to seeing that on TV. And now,
yeah, this is more like reality TV.
Yeah, now that we have reality TV, I think that the take on it has to be updated to people can imagine anything now. I think you don't have to, when they say game show, it doesn't have to be this, studio audience scenario.
Which is fun because, again, like in the book, it's very much reality TV. I'm hoping that he incorporates a lot of that. I don't see how they couldn't, because of how obvious that stuff is now. Again, I don't know that people were thinking about that super big time, when the original was released, the movie. So
super
I think
big time.
now that these ideas are kind of part of our collective consciousness, I think even if he injects a lot of humor and fast moving, if he makes it super groovy, I think he'll hopefully really capture also this, the seriousness. I mean, he can go in an idiocracy kind of direction with it and still capture the spirit of that book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that news.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's see. I'm probably less excited about some of this other stuff. Let's see.
Yes.
Shall we? Let's dip into the news bag. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right. So this is like I don't have too many feelings either way about this because I hadn't jumped into it yet. But I guess Jordan Peele is donezo with the Twilight Zone. It's donezo.
Yeah,
it got canceled.
Oh man!
And it was canceled because he was done with it.
Oh, it's because it was him, not because of the studio.
Because they wanted to keep it going. Yeah, the network Paramount Plus wanted to keep it going, but apparently Jordan Peele and his team, and they do not at press time have a reason why. But
well, honestly, I never hear people talk about the show, so I don't think
it's not like a big hit.
Yeah, I don't think it's not in the consciousness right now. So I think it's just so much out there that got kind of buried.
It was made just for me. That's the issue. And I'm behind on it, even though it was made just for me. I haven't seen all the episodes.
Well, I know you are a big fan of it, right? You really
I love it. Yeah. I think I mean, it reminds me more of Ray Bradbury theater than it does the original Twilight Zone, but I think it's a lot of fun.
I maybe have only seen one episode of it. I liked it well enough.
It was fine. It didn't like knock my dick in the dirt, as my best friend Kelley would say.
Right.
But I wonder, it always seemed like it was destined to be small because it was on CBS All Access. I mean, frankly, that's not like that was, as a streaming service, wasn't like super, super, super popular. I wonder with this advent of Paramount Plus and them adding different things to it, will that change?
Well,
I don't know. But
also, it's not even like, it doesn't even sound like it was an issue of, it's not because it was unpopular that it's really.
We were just talking. I was just talking about like what Andy was saying. Like it wasn't something I heard a lot about.
Well, Jordan Peele, I think he is restructuring his life in general, because he said he's not going to act anymore. Because he's like done with it. I think he's going to move into a producer kind of a Guillermo del Toro kind of realm where he has a family now.
Fostering projects instead of being super involved.
His name is a brand right now, and before the brand gets, collects any more, I guess, any more image, I don't know how else to say that, before it has anything else stick to it, he knows he's got this brand that stands for something, and he can go out and people will go see something because his name is on it.
Right.
And it's enough maybe just for him to go out and say this project, that project, and this one,
Mm-hmm. And I think too, as a writer and someone who I think is possible that just hosting and producing that show is not necessarily, maybe he always knew he wasn't going to do that forever, but it was something he wanted to get out there. And it's not, he's not really writing full episodes, I don't think, or directing full episodes very often. So he probably is like, well, I got everything out of this that I'm going to get creatively. So let's move on.
You mean he has integrity?
And it didn't become, well, I just mean like his interest.
Well,
you know what I mean? His creative interest.
There's also, he was such a fan of the Twilight Zone. And if you've ever read Rod Serling's biographies, like he got to a point where he was trapped in doing that show. And he's literally probably trying not to repeat that history for himself, to be trapped in a project.
You don't want to become M. Night Shyamalan, where you're expected to have, the quote unquote Shyamalan twist. I feel like that was kind of Rod Serling. I feel like a lot of those people get trapped in those where now everyone expects you to do this certain kind of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know if we ever said anything on the actual podcast, but that our friend John Wagner just finished working on a movie called Old with M. Night Shyamalan. They filmed in they were in Dominican Republic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the trailers just came out during the Super Bowl, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
It looks so good. I can't wait.
Yeah. So good. It's got that kid. It's got the teenager from Hereditary, I think, in it.
Mm-hmm. And it looks. It actually looks creepy.
The boy.
Nat Wolf.
Da boy.
Like the whole. Yeah, you got to watch the trailer if you haven't seen the trailer.
I will watch
the trailer. Yeah, you gotta. I think Shyamalan's.
I think he's having a run. He's having a renaissance.
He is, but he's kind of uneven. It's an uneven renaissance.
Yeah. I like The Visitor a lot, but I didn't see the that TV series he did. Was that any good?
Oh, it's great. Servant is what I want from him. And then like the thing, I don't know, Glass for me. His superhero trilogy was good, but it didn't totally click with me. I'm like, I would much rather see him focused on dark fantasy stuff and horror.
Yeah, Split did not super work for me at all. There were things I liked about it, but ultimately I was kind of let down by that. But and I haven't seen Glass yet. Unbreakable I like pretty well.
Glass is good, and if I go back, his movies also get stronger on revisiting them. He's like Rob Zombie for me in that way, where I might not like something the first time through at all, and then it just has circumstance has to throw it back at me, and I change my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I do. So there you go. No more Jordan Peele Twilight Zone. Get over it.
I'll try.
You can go to betterhelp.com.
Don't you feel this is also
find the specific therapist that's going to help you deal with this pain?
Dr. Serling? This is kind of a tradition in the Twilight Zone too, though, that it gets rebooted it's like Stephen King's It. It's going to come back every 27 years.
Yeah.
That's right. And usually it doesn't, it's not necessarily a super long lasting series usually either.
Yeah.
You ready for more?
Oh, boysies.
Give it all to me.
You guys remember George Romero, probably.
I have heard of him. What do I know him from?
Zombies. But he also did
Romero's spaghetti sauce.
Oh.
That's right. He did stuff other than zombies, though.
Yeah.
He did Crazies.
Oh, that was him.
Mm-hmm. He did.
I'm driving some listener nuts right now. I'm joking.
Seasons of Witch.
Seasons of Witch.
He did that too,
which I think was also called The Wives. And then
about witches.
It's about witches.
He did.
Actually, I've never seen that.
Crepe show about the French patisserie.
Ooh, French patisserie.
And then Martin, which is about it was It was about that couple and their friends, and they, and they were all vampires.
Damn,
so anyway,
Kelley.
Now, Zawo. Shudder has acquired the rights to release a long lost George Romero project, and this the synopsis for this sounds awesome, like awesomely weird. And I don't, if you have ever watched George Romero's versions of The Crazies or Season of the Witch or Martin, he had a weird style, like between his zombie movies, and those, it's hard to say how I feel about some of those movies. The ideas are all solid. So, and I have not revisited Martin. I don't know if I've ever seen Season of the Witch, actually.
They're unconventional, like, stories. It's not even that his style changes from.
It doesn't so much.
Yeah, the filmmaking style is the same. It's just that he shifts to such a grimy kind of indie,
but also very colorful
style
of
storytelling.
It's super weirdly colorful and almost Sid and Marty Krofft, except without like giant puppets, is a way I kind of think about his non-zombie stuff.
Yeah. It's very of its time.
Yes, it is very of its time. Very
if you know, it's like almost psychedelic in a way.
It is psychedelic. Yeah, exactly. Martin is very psychedelic.
Yeah, it's so like I think that style it's very dated if you're not schooled in that style.
Yes, and so this movie is called The Amusement Park. It has been shelved since 1973.
Why?
And Shudder is going to be, well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because it's too good.
And I don't know if they just forgot about it, but this is the story behind this is actually pretty fucking funny. And so it was his widow, along with the George A. Romero Foundation, has been trying to get this released, and it was made in 1973, The Amusement Park, and it is, let me get to where okay, here it is. The Lutheran Church hired George Romero, the Lutheran Society, sorry, I don't know how that works in with the church or not, the Lutheran Society, as a TV movie public service announcement on elder abuse. I want that to sink in for everyone first.
Whoa, okay.
George A. Romero was hired to make Of Night of the Living Dead at this point. Like that came out in 68. I think Martin was 71 maybe. And now the Lutheran Society is like, who can we get to make a movie that shows like the importance of paying attention to elder abuse in our time? What about that dude that made that zombie movie that toured around drive-ins and kind of got weirdly popular? Yeah, let's hire him. So they hired him, and so this is what he did. When they got the movie, it was so strange and disturbing. That's how it's described in this article from Arrow in the Head, by the way, in case I'm snagging any kind of copywritten shit. It was so weird and like off-putting that they didn't want to show it. So the synopsis basically, and here I can read this because this is a press release. An elderly man who finds himself disoriented and increasingly isolated as the pains, tragedies, and humiliations of aging in America are illustrated by his journey among roller coasters and chaotic crowds. The film is seen as an allegory about the nightmarish realities of growing older, and as a snapshot of the filmmaker's early artistic capacity and style. So this should be pretty fucking interesting and weird.
Yeah, well, I like sometimes seeing those early things like that weird.
Me too.
Francis Ford Coppola, was it Dementia 13 or
Dementia 13? Yeah.
Or Tim Burton's Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah,
Hansel and Gretel, or Jim Henson's weird little like movie that he made with himself.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Well, you laughed when you said nightmarish nature of getting old or whatever you said, and I'm like, well, isn't that what we spent 20 minutes talking about at the beginning of this show?
Nightmarish is I mean, nightmarish. Like
Mammogram.
this makes it sound like getting old is like just dropping into the very depths of burning, tormented hell, and it can be, I guess.
Well,
What a
like
drag
getting older is
it
like
is getting old.
I mean, it's a bummer getting
Right.
old. Nightmarish is maybe for me.
Do you think
nightmarish, even at my worst, is I don't know if it's a nightmare.
it's not a nightmare. I was joking. I was just more about all the ways that your body gets poked and prodded as you get older. But
Like your boobs.
like my boobs get squished by
Like your
some
boobs.
poor lady. That's what she has to do all day is manhandle boobies. But
Well, nobody's manhandling my balls at the doctor.
that's
so,
all he
I mean,
wants. Just manhandle his balls for crying out loud.
You sound so upset about it, Kelley.
I am
Somebody
because
touch
I'm
my
afraid
balls.
something's wrong, and I won't know.
Is it weird that I'd be horrified if my family practice doctor ever saw me naked? He never has.
Maybe.
He's seen up inside my asshole. I'm so close to my doctor.
Well,
he
Freddy,
he
who
knows
hasn't?
my body better than I know my body.
I expect
Myself.
my doctors to be cool with my new. Like I gotta.
Well, yeah, if I had to, be nude. But
No, Aim, I get it. It's the same reason I can't poop in public.
I can't poop in public either.
I can't poop in the doctor's waiting room either.
I can't make. I
Too
have
many
to be
people looking at
quiet
you.
in public if I'm like. If someone's in there, I'm holding it.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's more me than anybody else. I
Yeah.
know my doctor doesn't give a shit.
What
He's
if-
seen worse.
Right.
what
Or
if-
has he?
What if
But-
holding it? What if if it was a Berenstain Bears situation, a Mandela effect, where for some of us holding it means pooping in your hands and holding it because you can't make it to the bathroom,
You sound like you're inebriated.
and then there's going to be like people 10 years from now because we put that out in the world, they're going to be like, that's what holding it means, and
my
then
God.
they're going to get married to someone who does it the other way, and they're going to be like, they're going to see them shit their hands for the first time at Disney World because
Why
they're
at Disney
because they're trying to save time on their touring plan.
Okay.
They're like, I thought this is what you meant.
And
Freddie,
it's like, yeah, hold it. And
I'm
then
gonna
they're like,
put
what do I
stop to
do?
this.
What do I do with this?
I'm gonna push the stop to this. You're
What do I do with this shit in my hands now? You told me to hold it, and they're like, just put it in the garbage can over there that looks like a treasure chest.
So I was thinking about what you were saying about the nightmarish realities of getting older and how it's like a bummer. And that's kind of how I feel right now as a 41-year-old adult female trying to navigate what the rest of my life looks like. But then you think about old people like Willard Scott's introducing their birthdays. Old people, and they look pleased as fucking punch sometimes to be alive, and they're like, you know what the secret to longevity is? You shove a tampon soaked in gin up your ass every day or something like that.
It's always something that is, they love it. They when they do those stories, their favorite thing is to be like,
Comes back around.
there's an old person who says their secret to staying young is a pack of cigarettes every day.
Every day.
Every day. Hasn't missed a day since they were 7 years old.
It's
Well,
your-
I'm waiting for one of the
DNA.
secrets. Yeah, I'm waiting for one of these secrets to be revealed to be super morbid and gross. Like every day, I hold my shit in my hand.
I think the secret is that they ate better food than we were given. That wasn't all processed.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of it.
And that's why we get colon cancer in our 40s, and their generation lives to be 117, and they're still bopping around on zip lines.
Kelly, what if
As
I
well-
promise you right now that you do not have anything wrong with your colon?
If you promise me that,
I promise you.
have you done a colonoscopy on me? Can you?
You know what? I
pay
promise never to
handsomely.
say if I have or have not.
If there was
I
a
will pay you
procedure,
handsomely.
Kelly, if there was a
Plausible
procedure
deniability.
where we could tell you pretty much everything that was going on inside your body, but we had to deglove your face
Yeah.
to do it.
Hey, to Apicana, we're recording that later.
And then we put your face back on at the end of the surgery, but your face will never be quite the same. It'll always be hanging off.
I would prefer to go other directions. And maybe there are something, like if there are things that I won't be able to change,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to know about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you have another problem. Your face is degloved. What are you gonna do about
Now
that?
I've decloved my face.
You got
Yeah.
saggy.
And I'm not
little
saying like
saggy in the
red.
jowls.
It's not Red Skull like deglove. If they put the face part back on,
It's
but
just a little.
It's
You
saggy.
can tell I've had it done. You can
Yeah.
tell I've had the procedure done.
There are red bags under your eyes where your eyelids are hanging down. It's when your lip and your chin don't line up right. They're like pointed out in your direction. and they're like, so you're like, yeah. And then they're like, wow, that's amazing. You had that done. And you're like, yeah, it turns out I have bursitis.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
And the doctor says it'll go away on its own if I just don't deglove my face.
So this will be exciting. When is this coming to Shudder? Do you know? The amusement park? It's coming to Shudder any day now.
Well, it just said later.
Any day now.
Later this year.
Yeah.
And this,
Amy, I have a question.
Yeah.
You brought up Willard Scott. Is he still doing that on the Today Show?
I don't know if he is. I think
now
Al does
Al
it.
Roker does it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it still presented by Smuckers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my dream. I want to be presented by Smuckers.
Mm-hmm.
To whom?
To the world. Well, to whoever's watching the Today Show.
At my wedding. I want to be given away by a jar of Smuckers. Smuckers of the bride. We could make a movie out of it.
Grape
Mother
or
Smuckers.
strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
Meet the Smuckers.
Oh, that's good.
You go smuck yourself.
Oh, we could do Step Smucker, a sequel where there's a stepmother that has cancer. It's real touching.
Oh.
God.
She got jelly jar cancer.
The Hud Smucker proxy?
The Pudsucker proxy.
I think we've all gone mad.
All right, well.
Is this the Twilight Zone?
Speaking of going
it's,
mad.
it's just like George Romero's movie. We're going mad.
Well, that sets us up for our next news. So I have not watched Lovecraft Country yet.
Me either.
I'm going to, but I haven't watched it yet. But I'm very excited about it. And I, as a Lovecraft fan, I'm excited to see a take on Lovecraft that incorporates his racism into it and kind of tells it from the perspective of sort of the oppressed characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like that I hate to use the word reclaim. That's not what I'm exactly saying, but like I like that it's acknowledged and sort of overridden to create you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a way of reclaiming the mythos for everybody, too.
Yes.
Right.
And so a new project like that is coming out. It's produced by Spike Lee, and it's called, it's going to be a Netflix movie, I believe, and it is called Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu. And it is going to be starring someone from Lovecraft Country, which I'm not sure what character they play because I haven't watched it yet, but Jonathan Majors is in talks for the lead. So I guess he hasn't actually been cast, but the synopsis is Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu is set in East Africa in 1928 and centers on Gordon Hemingway. This actually sounds awesome, like an old-timey serial set in Lovecraftian stuff. Gordon Hemingway, a roguish black American gunslinger who teams up with the elite warrior Princess Zenabe of Ethiopia to rescue the country's kidnapped regent from an ancient evil. And this, there's no official start or release date. So, you know, when they do that, you know, I guess there's a chance that it might not happen. But
if you are itching for that sort of thing, Kelley, and this might not come out, you know, in the meantime, while you're killing time for that to come out, there's a book called The Ballad of Black Tom. Yeah. Yeah. It's by an author, Victor Laval, who he takes the horror at Red Hook and shifts it, the perspective to the black character. And, also I want to say I don't know if he moves Red Hook or if it's still in New York. Yeah, I think it's still set in New York, but it is like a different perspective on that story, and it's also part of that. This has become kind of a movement of both black and white H.P. Lovecraft fans who have always wrestled with that part of who that person was. Yes, like to try to reclaim the thing about the art that they love and try to actually divorce him from it as much as possible, and say it's bigger than you.
Did he ever inject his beliefs into his writings?
That's all his writing is about, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's horror allegories for
racist. Okay.
His racism. Yeah. Which is my favorite Lovecraft story is pretty much just a story about not mixing with Asian people. But it's couched as this monster story that is also really super scary.
You talking about Dagon?
So he hated everybody.
Shadow over Innsmouth. Oh, he did.
Because he revisits that theme about mixing races a lot.
I do this for lots of pop culture things that I want to enjoy that I also know are allegories and metaphors for deeper awfulness in our societies, where I'm just like, not today. And I've done that with all of H.P. Lovecraft. I'm like, this is just monsters. I'm not even getting into it, buddy. Not today, sir.
And that's how, I mean, you have to choose how you view the art and how you, but I mean, that is definitely very obviously what he was intending. Only if you know about, if you don't know anything, well, he does even make some, it doesn't matter. The point is H.P. Lovecraft was a horrible racist. Supposedly in some of his later correspondence, he kind of eschewed some of that and realized that he was wrong, but whatever. That's fine. I mean, it wasn't like he ever went out and hurt anybody, but he was racist and angry and hated other races for most of his life. So it does make me feel better to see these projects where it's a world that I enjoy, and they are taking something and illustrating the prejudices of the creator while also giving back a voice and creating characters that go against what he was, felt, and working in a world and allowing other characters to be the people. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I do.
I'm rambling, but anyway, so I am interested in projects like that.
Okay.
And so I will have to check that out. You may have to recommend that to me at some point.
Can I ask you something about Tolkien?
Yes.
Did he ever... was he a racist too or anything like that?
So here's the thing about Tolkien. People will try to push the idea that, because the humans who were bad in the book were... Okay.
It was just something watching the third movie. I noticed like they were like the orcs and like the bad people like Sauron were bringing people from the east, and the people they brought in, they looked very exotic and very, stereotypically foreign.
Yes.
And the elves and the white people, they were portrayed as the West. So is that, the East is the bad people and the West are the good people.
That's because he was in World War I.
It's very British colonialism.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
that's
it is, and that's the time he was. I don't think. I guess it's if you want to say, was he a racist in the way that was normal for the time he lived in? Like, I don't think he had any more of a hate on for other races than any. Just he was not progressive race. Is what I'm saying. He was not like someone who was fighting for the rights.
Boy. He didn't have the entirety of what we know now.
And you have to shift the perspective to 1916. And think of that time where he's at Oxford and he's never known anyone who's not just like him.
Well, he was basically brought up with only boys and men until he was out in the world.
And they literally dress the same, and and then you go to war, and there is this whole world that literally you only read about, and then you have to process who these people are and why their lives are different. You're reevaluating all of your own beliefs. So you might fear is the natural response to that kind of thing. And then, maybe you translate the Germans into orcs all of a sudden,
which he does say that was not his intention as a Hitler allegory. He said that, but a lot of people think that it was.
Well, he wrote it before anyway, didn't he?
Well, yes, he did. Well, he wrote The Hobbit before. And he had started, I think, putting together a lot of notes on Middle Earth, but the Lord of the Rings didn't come out till the 50s.
Well, they didn't release it. Didn't he have it like stowed away or something for a long time?
Well,
no, he did write. I remember now because that was like the big thing he got criticized for, was telling the same story twice when he released it finally. Yeah, I gotcha. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So when you say, was he a racist? I mean, he wasn't any more, I don't think, a racist than anyone.
So he wasn't racist like
Lovecraft was, right? No, he wasn't not preaching against other. He was just He's just living his normal white British life.
There's racist and then there's hateful. You know what I mean?
Right. Proud boy versus just
ignorant.
Yeah.
He was of the time ignorant.
Okay. I'm just asking because I just noticed that some things could be taken in a certain way.
And they can't.
Stories and stuff.
I think you're dead on with what you're saying. Yeah.
People have pointed it out, and like they'll talk about like the Uruk-hai or the black orcs. I don't think that was a thing against black people. Again, I don't know, and I don't delve too deeply into what the people I like have said unless it's super obvious. I think that was just more about black versus white wasn't necessarily, especially in Britain, about black people and white people. Those colors represented certain things at a certain time. So I don't think he was that. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was like, well, the black orcs are black people, and then Gandalf the White is a white. I think that's reading too much into it.
It seems like it's more about nationalism than actual like race stuff.
It is. And even like the Southron people, like the ones you're talking about, the evil men that came from the East, there is probably an argument to be made that they are sort of representative of like Middle Eastern type people, like
they're riding the elephants. And
so, I mean, I think that was where he drew that from and sort of a mistrust of, the Middle East. But I think that's as deep as that goes. It is not. Okay. He is not a Lovecraft racist by any stretch, as far as I know.
So I was just curious, and this goes to show you I don't have a lot of experience with Spike Lee. Has he ever done anything horror adjacent or horror? I was just going through his IMDb credits.
Got some good stuff on there.
Summer of Sam. Would you consider that sort of a horror?
Yeah, he also
adjacent?
Produced some more B type stuff too.
Okay.
Like he didn't direct them, but like
I don't have a lot of.
And I'm not sure if he put his name prominently on them or if it was a business thing.
Right. I'll look it up later. It was just a question. Didn't know if you guys knew.
It was all a business deal gone wrong.
Gone wrong. All right. Any more news, Kel?
No, I'm newsed out.
He's newsed out.
Thank you, Kelley.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's nice to have news after like the drought we've had over the last few months because of the pandemic.
I was pleasantly surprised to find. It didn't take me long to find them. I was pleasantly surprised to find things I was interested in talking about.
The machinery is starting to crank back to life.
Spike Lee produced 3 horror films so far, and he's got 2 coming up. The first was Tales from the Hood.
Oh, shit. Of course. Duh.
You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You.
I've never heard of that.
Tales from the Hood 2.
Of course.
And then there is something called Frederick Douglass Now. An untitled Bud Schulberg project.
All right. We'll eagerly await that. All right. Cool.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, why don't you read that while I go take some insulin?
Why do I have to read
Or somebody's.
You want me
can
to
come to my chair.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amy will scroll for you.
All right. So now is the time when we like to thank our Beelzebubs.
Fuck yeah, it is.
The patrons who throw the most cash our way.
Yeah.
But that is not to make lesser of any of our listeners, patron or non.
Of course not.
They make it rain.
What?
They make it rain.
Yeah, these are these people make it rain for all of you. Like and so thanks to everyone who listens and patronizes, but these Beelzebubs you guys get we're gonna diddle you in a way that you like. Or won't. Whatever you consent to, we're going to do for you.
We're the private dancers.
Yes, we are the private dancers. We do what you want us to do. And so I'll start with someone who I literally diddle, and that is Alise.
Hey, diddle.
Slide Wallace on the old Facebooks. I love you, baby. And then we're going to say hi to Ernest. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see your name every week.
Safe in Texas.
Hope you're safe. Hope the snow is gone or getting gone.
Distant memory.
Amanda, hey, what up? Thank you for patronizing. Don't be so patronizing. No, do be as patronizing as possible.
Do be.
Mark.
Doobie-doo.
Mark, what's up?
Oh,
Hope you're well. You ever get tired of that?
He got a second vaccine, and he said it knocked him on his ass because we were supposed to play Destiny 2 on Saturday. You'll be happy to hear, Mark. I hope you're feeling better first. But we made some progress, some real progress. Our guys are real strong now. They have some nice weaponry. And we went to the moon.
Oh, my God. We went to the moon.
We finally went to the moon.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Well, did you hear about that, Blake? We went to the moon, and it's because of your patronage. Thank you.
Yeah, we finally finished the NOTLP 2. The first one we don't talk about.
You financed that mission.
Because it was incinerated on the landing pad.
Mm-hmm.
You and Bill?
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for funding that.
Yeah.
Also, Tree and Alex.
And
good to
before
talk to you.
anyone gets too excited about, you did agree to possible space exploration as part of the agreement on where the funds.
In the terms and conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long-term goal. We said when we get to 100 patrons, we'll go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you for making that a possibility. And Tree, I want to let you know, I was talking to her the other day, and I said that the cicadas would be here through July and August. It's earlier. It'll be they should be done by June.
Thank God. I fucking hate them so much. Oh my God.
But
I'm gonna die.
It's still going to be awful. So Thank you to Jeffel. I don't think it matters to you when the bugs are coming,
right.
but it's going to be April, May. Could be late April, early May to June.
Yeah.
Iona Goodwin. Hey, thank you. Thanks
you.
for that. And I would say that you're an Iona great one.
And also, she's probably laughing at us for being like afraid of cicadas because she lives in Australia.
Well, I would be afraid of whatever they have as well. I'm not afraid of cicadas. I don't like them to touch me. You could call it afraid, but that's not nuanced enough. I'm not afraid. I don't think they're going to hurt me, but I don't want them touching me. And
That's true.
I am repelled by them.
I used to say, yeah, I'm afraid of them, but you're right, Kelley. They're not going to hurt me. I don't want them to come repelled.
Yes.
I am repulsed
by the idea of their touch.
Ugh.
Yeah, I get that. That makes
sense. That
sense.
sounds like talk right there.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what that is. That's why it appeals to me. Branan and Emily, our little friends. You're not little, you're normal sized friends.
Normal sized friends.
And when I mean, they're not like the size of the Littles from the cartoon, The Littles.
Correct.
They're just like, human being sized.
Yeah.
And we thank you. And we love you.
Thank you for being human being sized.
Adam, in fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that everyone that's left on this list is human being sized.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I've met most of these people in person, I would say.
I'm pretty sure that Carla's a head in a jar.
Carla.
Carla, you can refute or confirm that possibly dangerous slander that Freddy.
I go by Eddie now. I identify as an Eddie. My cousin's an Eddie.
Yeah,
I have a cousin Eddie.
Cousin Freddy. You can refute or confirm whether or not you are just a head in a jar. I would not think that you were. How else would you click on us in the app finder or the podcast thing?
Right.
Turns out he's actually just a body in a jar.
Oh my God.
Just a body in a jar, no head, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I said hi to Adam, but I'm going to say hi again just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks to Bill. Always good. I missed you on Thursday because I wasn't at the meetup.
You weren't there.
I'll see you soon.
He was there. Where were you?
I'm sure he was. I was
we
here.
We cried because you weren't there.
We had so much fun on Thursday.
Sometimes you have to cry.
Yeah.
We actually got deep.
No, balls deep.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We got deep
Blayne,
in the emotions.
You missed out on the balls deep if you weren't there. I don't know if you were there because I wasn't.
He wasn't.
But both of us missed out on getting balls deep. I'm sorry, but thank you for your patronage.
Hey, Blayne's too busy not having water in Texas.
Oh, well, then in that case, it's certainly
is he still without water?
Yeah, for a while, but I think he has water now, hopefully.
Oh, okay. That's so crazy.
Describe how you smelled after a few days.
Same as us.
Yeah, just send us a smell. How about that?
Send us
a smell. Monica, hi, and thank you.
Hello, and thank you.
Hope you're well. We appreciate you. as we do. Alyssa,
Yes.
thank you, my friend. It's good to have you around in the life that we have and share.
My hair's doing great.
How's that product working out?
I really like it. Mary Ellen even commented on it last night.
My mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She said his hair was
recommended
soft and silky.
Alyssa recommended some hair care for Freddy's newly long hair.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Now panties are dropping all over.
They
Dr.
better
Brian?
not be.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Brian.
Thank you. He sent us something that we will be discussing on the show soonish.
Yeah, we can go ahead and say we're doing
oh yes, you do it. You do that.
Kirstie Alley, as Andy named the month.
It's cursed objects.
Yeah, so we're kicking it off with The Mask.
We're going down the cursed D alley.
Yes.
Yep.
It's like Diagon Alley, except different.
Cursed.
Very dark alley.
And so yes, we're starting with a movie called The Mask, sent to us by Dr. Brian.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. It looks pretty cool.
Toad's Prish.
And then what?
No,
What did
just
you say, Amy?
for the DVD.
Yes, thank you. What did you say, Amy?
Sorry.
I don't remember. Oh, I said Toad's Prish.
Toad's Prish.
So I'm glad
And
you made me repeat it because that makes me. Everybody thinks I'm cooler now that they heard it.
We mentioned this person previously in this list, but I want to say it again. Carla, thank you. I believe that you are a full person and not just a head in a jar, but we'll find out.
I believe no part of you is in a jar. I think you're out living your life.
Thank you to all of our Beelzebubs, to all of our patrons, and to all of our listeners. We love you guys and enjoy doing this. And thank you guys.
Real quick, can I just say, everybody, if you're listening, if you on our social media, just if you guys can like, comment, and subscribe.
Smash that
like button.
Smash that like button.
Andy needs your validation, or he will not be okay.
Mm-hmm. Andy will disappear slowly over time if you don't continue to hit the smash that like button. He's going to be like Marty McFly.
Clap for me, or they're also wither away,
or like Tinkerbell.
Oh, and I do know we had emails and stuff, but his show was just running long, so
yeah.
We decided not to read your emails.
So I apologize for that.
Delete. Just kidding.
No,
life is
read them.
hard.
Read everyone.
We got chatty. Everything's fine.
We had too much fun.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
What do you mean?
Were you just about to play the Night of the Comic theme music?
You can recognize it just from that little accent I made?
Yes.
I made a little accent. I tried to hold it, but I dropped it.
Anyway, thanks everybody.
All right,
Thanks everybody. Have a great week.
Whee!
Love you guys.
Love you.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead, and Igor made the nachos in a severed human head, and they enjoy the movie with their friends. David Kessler walks the streets of London